Hello, Fit Pros. Are we live? We are about to be live. Hello, Fit Pros. You here with me? Can you see me? I can see you. Y'all, I am so excited about this talk, y'all. This is going to be something that stays with you for a really long time and affects your life in great ways. We are going to change our mindsets today about our value, our earning potential, and our money. You ready for this? You guys ready for this? Y'all, I'm so ready to do this for you. But first, I need for you to jump in, give me some comments, let me know that you're here, give me your hearts and your fire. And let's get ready to talk about it. We're really going to get involved in this topic today. I hope you have some paper with you. I hope you're ready to take some notes. All right, I see you. You guys are starting to jump in now. It takes a second sometimes. So y'all say hello as you jump in. Give me a little like, give me a little heart and fire. Hey, let me tell you why I ask you to throw a little heart and fire and put a comment up when you jump in. You guys, we have 8,000 members, right, in the group. And not all of them get a notification every time I go live. And not all of them get a notification every time we put a post in the group. But when Facebook sees you guys throwing up your hearts and your fires as we start to get into these talks, and when they see you interacting with me, commenting, then Facebook says, I think that's good content. I need to make sure the rest of the group knows about that content. And so that's why it's really important. That's why I ask you to check in, say hello, tell me, where you're watching from, what's going on today, how is the weather? Because at the beginning, when you guys interact with me, it helps helps Facebook to understand that we are doing something really valuable here that people are enjoying and engaging with, and it helps, then Facebook will notify more people. Hello, Marie, good to see you. So I hope you have your notebook with you today. If not, take a second, go grab a piece of paper. Give me some hearts and fires. Tell me you're ready for this, you guys. And get a piece of paper. I want you to take notes and I want you to write down. This piece of paper is just for you. I want you to really be ready to just write, and really start to examine some of the things that we're going to talk about today. Okay, so today we are talking about the mindset around money, value, and why did the word just escape my mind? Our money, value, and our earning potential. Our earning potential, right? Those things are so highly personal and highly, ingrained in us. And so it's really useful to examine what our story is around money, what our reaction is to our story around money, and then let's optimize that. Maybe we've got a positive money story and maybe we can do better because we can always do better, right? Maybe we've got a negative money story and we need to dial it back, examine our reactions to money, different things like that. So that's what we're looking at today. Stay with me until the very end because this is going to be so useful. I promise you. When I taught this session the first time, I did it in my virtual studio business Accelerator. And during June, we're kind of pulling double duty. We're talking about growing our audience. And then we're also talking about money mindset because most of us are women in this group. Y'all, 75% of the Fit Pros in Fit Pros Connect are women. And so we really have a big value proponent wrapped up in our money story. That's true of women. It's true of fitness instructors, right? Because there's a lot about being a fitness instructor There are a lot of messages that happen in the facility and in the way that things just end up being run that tell you that you're kind of less valuable, which we know is not true, but it does end up kind of coming in, right? Coming in, sitting around, wearing some grooves in our brain. So let's talk about all that stuff. That is what we're here to do today. Get your notebook ready. Let's do this. Before we start, I'm going to do something really different with you guys. You guys ready for this? I want to do a little breathing exercise. And I'll tell you what we're going to do here. We're going to relax. We're going to really, really, really relax. And we're doing it because as we start to talk about some of this stuff, as we start to think about some of this stuff, it's a little emotional, it's a little personal, it gets a little in your head. And I want you to be in a good place to be able to let it go, Okay, I've examined it. Let's move on. Let's think about doing things differently. So here's what I want you to do. Sit down, get your shoulders relaxed. You might even lay down. If you're there alone and you want to, you can lay down. So sit down, lay down, get real relaxed. Take a big deep breath. Let your eyes drift closed. And then exhale and let the whole weight of your body come into your chair, right? Big inhale. We're going to do what's called square breathing. We're going to go in for 3, 4. We're going to hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to exhale completely. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to hold. 2, 3, 4. One more round. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. Relax. Let your shoulders come away from your ears. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. And then just let your breathing come back to normal. And let your eyes float open. Just a little relaxation, you guys, because this subject can be intense. So today we're talking about money, right? Let's talk about value first. We're going to talk about our value story. We're going to talk about our money story. So we all have a specific set point in our minds when we think about the value, the earning potential, the top number or the top potential that we've got. And maybe we think, no, I'm going to earn as much as I possibly can. But realistically, if you really sat down and you wrote a number down, everyone's kind of got a number in their mind. And we live up to that number. So if you've got a high number, you're constantly hungry, you're constantly working, you're constantly striving, you're constantly creating and looking for ways to live up to that number. If you've got a low number, it's going to be the same thing. You are going to live up to that low number, whether you do it consciously or subconsciously. If you have got a low value set point in your mind, you're going to live up to that. We all have a story about money in our minds, and we react to that story in certain ways. So in the same way that you're going to live up to that value set point, you've got a money story in your mind, and you're going to react to that money story. It's going to show up in your spending habits, right? So we're going to talk about some of the different negative money stories that people might have, but let's just say this for now. If you've got a negative money story, it's going to show up in your spending habits. Let's say that you have a spouse or you have a windfall of some way. Your spouse creates a lot of income, or you have a windfall of money that comes in. Have you ever seen those stories where people win the lottery and then they spend the whole thing within a year? Like, what do you think that's all about? You guys, go ahead and give me some comments. What is that all about when somebody completely wins like $100 million and then they're broke in 5 years? What do you think that is? So we've got reactions to our money story. We've all got a money story in our head. It comes from some different places, and we react to money based on our money story. It shows up in the spending habits. Maybe you win the lottery and you completely spend the whole thing in 5 years. It shows up in the way that you either budget or don't budget your money, right? It shows up in the way you plan your money. So in the way you kind of treat your money from day to day. Maybe, I know for me, when business in the past hasn't been going well, I will kind of like not look at the books. I don't want to see it. That comes from my money story, and that is my reaction to the fact that things aren't going like I want them to go. That is part of the money story, and that is part of my reaction to my money story, right? So planning, you may not want to look at your retirement. You may spend your entire retirement before it is time, or you may be, what's the word I'm looking for? You may be flippant about your retirement money. You may go ahead and spend it even though it's inappropriate to spend it at the time. Things like that. So here's what I want you to do right now, you guys. You got your papers in front of you. Give me a yes. I've got my paper. I'm ready to write. Give me a little heart. Tell me that you're ready. I've got 2 questions for you that I want you to write the answer to on your piece of paper. You guys, is this so different? This is so different for the Fit Pro show. It feels a little weird to me, but I really enjoyed teaching this lesson the first time I did it. So the first thing you're going to write on your blank paper is you're going to put a big money symbol, right? And then you're going to put is. So money is. And then I want to give you about 30 seconds, and I want you to write everything that you can write about what you believe money is, okay? So that's the first one, money is. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do that. I wish I could play music, but we're on video. I can't play music. It's a dangerous game, isn't it? Am I okay to sing the Jeopardy theme song, I wonder? Ding, 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 ding. Better not do it. I might get muted. Okay, so money is. So you wrote something down, right? Who feels comfortable sharing what they wrote down? If you feel comfortable, go ahead and share it. You do not have to. I know that can be a very, very personal question. While you guys are sharing, we're going to do another question. I want you to write down what you believe your top earning potential is. So either next page or bottom half of the page that you've got, wherever you want to put it, my top earning potential is. Write it down, you guys. It's powerful. It's powerful to take what you believe and put it on paper. Put it on paper. And then if you'd like to share that, please share it. Put it in the comments. So you guys, here's why we're doing that. There was some research that was done a while back. An old business coach of mine gave this tool to me, and it's so valuable. This question was asked of entrepreneurs who were struggling and entrepreneurs who had made it and had money and were doing well with their money, right? And then the answer was kind of studied. What's the difference between what entrepreneurs who were struggling wrote versus people who had established themselves? And the difference was that people who were struggling with money usually wrote something more emotional about money. So for 80 to 90% of us, maybe even every single one of us, we probably wrote something like money equals stability. Money equals freedom. Money equals happiness. Something aspirational, something that you feel like you don't already have, right? and something that has a lot of emotion attached to it, right? So the difference is that people that have made it, the people that have got money, they wrote things like, money is money. Money is what it is. There was no emotion attached to it and no aspiration attached to it. And when you think about that in terms of, let's think about other things in our lives. So I gave the example the first time I did this lesson of your hairbrush. You don't look at your hairbrush and say, oh my gosh, if I had more hairbrushes, I would have better hair, right? We don't say, maybe if I had more hairbrushes, I would have less grays. Or maybe if I had more hairbrushes, I would have better style. Or maybe if I had more hairbrushes, I would be able to grow my hair longer. Like we don't think about hairbrushes like that. Hey, a hairbrush is a hairbrush. It's maybe a tool. It's a thing that you use. It's a thing you buy groceries with, whatever it is. But it's just a thing. It's just a thing like the other things in life. And that's what we're striving to do here, is come to a place where there's less emotion attached around money. So we've got a money story. We have things that informed that money story. And then that money story in turn attaches itself in the form of thoughts and emotions. And what we want to do is take the emotion out of it and just look at money for what it is. It's a thing, it's a tool. You buy your food with it. It is not, at the end of the day, what is truly going to make you happy. It is something we'd all like to experience in terms of happiness, right? But it's a tool. Okay, so let's move on. Money story, value story. These things are informed by past beliefs, current beliefs, and traumas and other experiences. So beliefs can come from our parents, right? Certainly as we're growing up, we watch our parents and we listen to our parents, and our parents have a certain way of believing and interacting about their money. So, I come from a family of 4. So it was a great, happy childhood, but a family of 4 doesn't always have enough of everything, or enough for each individual child at least. So, you bring that forward. There was the belief by my parents, verbalized all the time, we don't have enough. We can't afford that language. We can't afford, or we don't have money for, right? That comes from your parents. That comes from your family of origin. It comes from your upbringing. Religion can play a huge factor in our beliefs around money, which informs our money story. So a lot of us come from a background where we're told, blessed are the poor, right? That, and in that is the message that it's almost selfish or wrong to strive and want and to achieve in the name of creating more income, right? So we might come from a background of believing blessed are the poor. We might come from a background of believing that women don't go out and earn outside of the home. And with that comes a whole set of emotions. So if you are a woman and you are striving to create an income we're all fitness instructors and personal trainers, with our virtual workouts, with this business that we are building outside of the gym. If we're striving to really make an income, is there a point in your mind where your mind is saying that income is too big, it doesn't fit within my belief system? And do we need to? Marie says she just crashed the internet. And so is that something that we need to examine, right? Another big one, and you guys put these out there. If you've got a a way that your belief system informs your money story, please put it in the comments. I want to hear. Let's make this as interactive as we can. Even though this is a really personal subject, I know we can still discuss it a little bit. You can go general with your comments. So here's one that came in the last time that was huge. Many of us have moved on from maybe what our parents believed about money, or maybe what our family of origin money story was. But now we carry around our partner's beliefs around money, or our partner's beliefs around the value of themselves and the value of you. Make sense? So, a lot of us marry the person that we had, the parent that we, have you guys ever heard this? You marry the parent that you want to repair the relationship with the most, right? So whichever parent you kind of had the most traumatic relationship with, that's the parent that you marry. And so you may carry your family of origin money story forward in the form of the person that you marry. Regardless, we do adopt our partner's money story and our partner's money beliefs and our partner's value beliefs in a lot of ways, right? Right? So think about that. If you married somebody who believes that, let's say you married somebody who comes from a really lacking background, a really poor background. Let's say they were hungry when they were growing up. And they say that if you were ever hungry as a child, that you can never be full as an adult. So people who came from a story of lack will earn and work and do, and it's never enough, right? And so in some ways you could start to adopt your partner's sense that it's never enough, even though you weren't raised with that same lack or hunger. So these are really, really deep, you guys, and please feel free to go lighter in the comments, but these are things that start to inform our beliefs around money and our beliefs around our own value and earning potential. So let's talk about traumas around money, right? A trauma does not have to be something that leaves like a deep scar. A trauma is something that results in a negative feeling, a negative emotion, a negative memory about something. We talked about being raised in lack and how that can move forward in constant striving and constant like not enoughness. I've talked to entrepreneurs who have been stolen from. Certainly being stolen from can be a money trauma that gets carried forward in so many ways. So let me think about, I worked for a company a while back that they were really, really bad micromanagers to the point that it was detrimental to the company. So people didn't have the autonomy to make their own decisions. It was a really miserable work environment because you couldn't like go to the bathroom without somebody timing you almost, or you were, even as like even their top management was like clocking in and out with like a time card, and if you ran an errand, and really bad micromanaging in ways that it was damaging to the morale and to the productivity of the company. And when you dug into it, they did that because they had been stolen from in the past from a past top manager. And so that trauma was carried forward in that they micromanaged. And so if you think about that in ways of your own story, you may repel money because you don't want to go through that again. Or you may get really, really tight with money in ways that you can't, go out and invest in like Facebook ads or whatever you might need to do to get more business because you're so worried about spending money, you're like holding on to it too tight. Um, Let me give another example of how that can work. So a trauma is anything that is negative, especially something that might be shocking, something that you hold on to and it stays with you. That's what a trauma is. So way back in 1999, 2000, somewhere around there, I was running and I ran past a kid who was holding a dog on the leash. The dog jumped away from his owner and clamped down into my leg, bit hard, made just a gash and a huge bruise. It was really scary though. I don't have a scar anymore. There's no scar there. But let me tell you, I'm still scared of dogs. So if I'm on a walk somewhere and somebody has a dog off of a leash, I will freeze. It's involuntary and I can't move. I don't want that dog coming near me. I am repelling that dog because I was traumatized by a dog, right? In the same way, trauma repels money. And so there are a million ways that we react to money trauma that will repel money. So lack can be an example, being raised with lack or having a time in your life when you have lack. When I was a single mom, I bought all of my groceries and diapers and everything in bulk, and I have carried that trauma with me into the present to where I won't even leave a restaurant when I'm on vacation without a doggy bag, even though I know I'm not going to eat that food, right? So lack can be a trauma and you carry that forward and it informs the way that you treat your money, which is what we're going to talk about next. If you've ever had a windfall of money and maybe that was a positive experience and maybe you're looking for the next windfall, so maybe you get addicted to scratchers or you're buying scratch off lottery tickets all the time, or maybe in a good way, maybe you had a windfall of money because you had some big sales and now you are constantly hustling and selling and looking for that next kind of dopamine hit from that big sale. Sometimes people have a windfall of money because of an inheritance, and that means that someone close to them has passed away, and that can be a real trauma. You guys, what other traumas have you experienced around money, or what do you want to talk about? Put them in the notes. I'm going to talk about one more that's really personal to me. So the last time I taught this, I actually had not written this out, but when I started talking about it, I really thought about it and thought, that's really something that I need to examine. So as I was raising my kids and bringing my kids up, I was working full time and I was also teaching fitness. And I've always known that teaching fitness is kind of where my highest value is. And, but I had this whole other career, right? Creating websites. And in creating websites, I made a lot more money, right? So I actually had ended up quitting teaching fitness for a long time and just focused on my website career because I had small kids. I have a husband who is deployed twice, and so that's what I needed to do. And then the last job that I had before I went out on my own and started to make my company was a job that was really not a positive experience for me. But I kept it as long as I possibly could stand because I made a lot of money there, right? And so then when I come out of that and I start to finally serve where I believe my highest good is, then maybe there's some resentment around money because I held on to a career for so long. And I love making websites. I love that, having that skill set. I love the clients that I work with, but there were career situations that I would have preferred to not have dealt with as long as I did. And I did that because of the earning, because I was making a lot of money. And so is there some resentment around money because of that? And then how does that show up in my money story? How does that show up in the way that I treat money? Okay, so Marie is saying people want the class for a smaller fee, so I'm trying to figure out what's the best price to charge. Okay, so that's not what we are talking about today. Today we're really talking about our mindset around money, but you and I can message about that later. And then Latoya says being laid off unexpectedly while caring for a sick loved one, not knowing when the next job will come along. Yes, yes, yes. Um, that that's a huge one. Okay, and Marie, yes, let's talk about that. So being laid off unexpectedly is huge. I had that experience. Actually, I mentioned that I was a single mom in 2000 when the dot-com bubble burst. I was 2 months pregnant and single, and dad had taken off. So that was a huge trauma around money. Same kind of thing, caring for a sick loved one and then being laid off and then not knowing where that's coming next. And Latoya, what did that cause you to do? So for me, what that caused me to do is I always treated every paycheck as if it were the last paycheck, right? And so I would go out and I would buy like all the groceries I could possibly fit into my house, and I would buy diapers in bulk, and I was almost like not in a gross way, but I was almost a food hoarder. Like I would get everything I could possibly get into the house and then I would use it all. And just that's something that has carried forward with me to this day, right? And so then Marie said that people are that she's working right now on filling up her online classes, and then people are kind of giving excuses and giving pushback on the price. Our value story around being an instructor or a personal trainer, our value story around a fitness instructor, being a fitness professional, is deeply ingrained in our money story, right? And those two things will play off of each other and inform each other in huge ways, right? And so it's really important to examine what we believe our value is, and then move forward and slough off those negative stories that we're getting from other people, because that's their story. If someone is coming to you and saying that I don't believe you have value in what you do, that's their story. They are not your person. So we move on from those, and we work with the people who are our people. We work with the people that feed our soul, and the people who we really love working with, and who are willing to pay us what our stated value is, what we believe our value is. And we don't allow people to feed our negative value story and our negative money story. So Latoya says, I would cut all unnecessary costs and try to live with only the most essential things. And Latoya, I bet you carry that with you into this day, don't you? I bet there are certain places where in your life you are living with less than you really could. You could maybe buy leggings a little bit more often than you do, or you could take yourself out to dinner, or get your nails done or something, and you're not always doing those things. You're kind of sitting back. And you'll see your money story kind of move in and out too. Like, so sometimes it's prevalent, it's front and center, it's really informing everything that we do. And then sometimes we're feeling a little bit more relaxed in our lives, maybe a little bit more stable. Usually that has nothing to do with money. It has more to do with where you are in your head, and maybe you're more able to go out and get your nails done and feel good about it. But the idea that you can sometimes be very uptight about it and then sometimes be more relaxed is usually not attached to how much money is coming in. Sometimes it is, but that money story will override the actual physical circumstances, right? Okay, so sometimes we attach money to another trauma that's going on with our lives, and then we let those things snowball. So maybe you are laid off, but you're given a 6-month severance package. I know that has not happened to any of us in the last few months, or not many of us, but that does happen sometimes. And then maybe you still find yourself in a place where you can't go like get your nails done or feel good about taking a breath because you're attaching a past negative money story to that layoff, and maybe that layoff doesn't have to be negative because you know there are things coming up, but we attach it. Okay, so you guys, give me your comments and questions on that. So what we've talked about so far is kind of the beliefs and then the traumas and the circumstances that can inform our money story and that can inform our value story. And those two things are completely interrelated, right? And so here's what we want to think about. How do we treat our money? I want you to imagine, this part's really fun actually. I want you to imagine that your money is, so your money, your bank account, your debit card is actually like your spouse or your partner, your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever you got. And your money is at a party, and maybe your money has had a few drinks, and your money is talking about you, and your money's getting real honest, right? What would your money say about the way you treat it? Would your money say, I go and I'm with her and I spend time with her and I give and give and give and I'm there and she cannot get enough. She's just, hoarding me into her bank account, into her emotional bank account, into her physical bank account, whatever it is. I can't seem to get away from her. Or would your money say, she's pushing me away. I go and I spend time with her and then she's just pushing me away. So maybe you're, whenever you get money, you just spend it as fast as you get it and you have no idea where it goes, right? Or would your money say that you respect it and that you plan time with it and that you create valuable memories with it and you do valuable things with it? What would your money say about you if it was a person? If it was a person that you have as intimate a relationship as you do with money? Because let's face it, it is a part of our everyday existence. Maybe it's on your mind every hour. Maybe it's on your mind every minute of every day. What would it say about you? And if you want, you can make that even into a homework assignment by saying, by writing it down. What would your money say about you? Maybe you write a letter. What is my money say? What if my money was writing me a letter? What would it say about me? What would it say to me? And so the other part of that homework assignment then would be to take the 3 things that I've asked you to write and flip them over. So for the money is, you might flip that over completely. Flip the script. If you wrote money equals stability, and you have this aspirational thought that if you had enough money that you would have complete stability, flip the script on that. Think about if money didn't exist, what would that look like? Where would you get your stability? Think about if you had all the money in the world, would that really equal stability? So flip the script on those things. If for the top earning potential, here's what I want you to do with the top earning potential. Whatever you wrote for your top earning potential, I want you to write a higher number. And then I want you to write a higher number. And then I want you to write that a couple more times. And I want you to just roll it around in your mind. Just see if that doesn't feel really good. You don't have to get hung up on how I would make that happen. So let's say I wrote down $300,000 as my top earning potential, right? Like that's as much as I think that I could make in a year. And so now here comes Kelly, and Kelly says, write down a higher number. So I write down $600,000. And then Kelly says, write down a higher number. So I write down $1,000,000. And then I start thinking, well, I couldn't make $1,000,000. How am I going to make $1,000,000? I've only got like X number of customers right now. I've only got this going on. And what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. You don't need to go there. It's okay to have the thought and have the idea and let it roll around and let it wear some grooves into your brain without having to know exactly where that would come from today. Because if you think that Henry Ford could have envisioned the cars that we drive today, it couldn't have happened. Right? He designed this car that had like 4 wheels and no roof and a really thick glass windshield that shattered and cut you up. And if you think he could have imagined the kind of safety features that we have today, the kind of computerized systems that we have today, no, he never in a million years, he couldn't have even imagined the cars that we drove by the end of his lifetime when he first invented the car. I don't think he invented the car, right? That might be a really bad example. Okay, so you don't have to think about how you would get there. Just write that number. Keep writing it while I'm talking. Just keep writing it. Okay, and so then the third one is that we think about how we treat our money, and maybe we write a letter as money to ourselves, and then we flip the script and we write a letter to our money. So me writing a letter to my money, right? Really useful stuff. You guys, take a little time with that this week, and I would love to hear your feedback on that. I know this episode of the Fit Pro Show is really, really different, but this is one that I have done with my Academy participants. I'm calling it the Accelerator, actually, the Virtual Studio Business Accelerator students. We are working specifically on money this month, or money mindset we're working on growing our audiences and doing the things that are going to create a higher income. But then we've also got this dual focus this month where we're also thinking about money mindset, because as I talked to my participants who were coming in this specific class of participants that were coming in, what I realized is that we needed to do some money story work and some money mindset work. So this is the type of mindset session that we are doing in the Accelerator, and we're going to keep doing for a good little bit. So I hope this has been really helpful. You guys, what questions do you have for me? I see a little girl coming up to my door right now. I think the doorbell's about to ring. You guys, hang on. Write your questions. I'm gonna grab that really quick. I'm sorry. I'm in my house and I'm by the front of the house, and I know. Oh, maybe she just dropped something off. She left. Okay, so I don't have to go. So what questions do you guys have? What thoughts do you have? Share with me your thoughts. Who is gonna actually do the homework? I want to hear. Who's going to take, I would say if you sat down and you focused on that homework for a good 30 minutes, or you did 10 or 15 minutes a day for a couple days, you could really make some progress with your money mindset. Okay, so that's what we're doing. You guys, today is the last day. If anybody in this group has been considering joining the Virtual Studio Business Accelerator, which is something that we talk about more in the challenge than we do in the Fit Pros Connect group, but I know that you guys have heard of it, and it's that 6-month program that I do that helps you transition from being an employee your whole life to being a fitness entrepreneur. And so we go through how you create a bigger audience, how you get your offer out there. It's designed so that within the first month of being with me, you have created enough income that the accelerator is paying for itself. So there are all these lessons that we go through. We do a live lesson every single week, and then we do another mindset session every single week, and then we do office hours every single week. So it's this very intense live school that will take you from being an entrepreneur, from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And sorry, let me get rid of that. So if that is something that you're interested in, I want you to think about doing it. I'm going to put the link in here. You can DM me with your questions. Today is the last day, you guys. So if you are interested, get with me and let's talk about it today, because after this, the Curt will close, and then that school will not be available until I do the challenge again in August. So that's the link. I just put it in the comments. Y'all, so the way that I usually do this is that I do the Go Virtual and Get Paid Challenge, right? And then I've got this group of instructors and trainers that are with me. We go through this really intense week where I teach, I love on them, we do all the stuff together. The challenge was so amazing this time, y'all. The group was awesome. I know Marie is watching. Marie made so much progress, busted through her comfort zone. It was awesome. She won the contest to see who could earn the most money week over week, right? So whatever you were earning before the challenge and then whatever you were earning after the challenge, Marie won that contest. So that was awesome. We do the challenge. Then at the end of the challenge, I open up the accelerator and I say, okay, if you want to continue coaching with me, then here's the accelerator. And please, I would love to have you sign up, right? And then some of them sign up and some of them don't. So that's the way that works. We do the challenge and then I open up the cart to the accelerator. And then I'll mention it to the Fit Pros a couple times, because there might be people in this group who did not take the challenge with me but know that they want to do the accelerator. So that's what that is. The accelerator is a big program. It's intense. It is designed to get you results and get you there, fast track you past all of the business building mistakes that I've made over the last 6 years and throughout my career. It's designed to get you over those things so that as you're building your virtual fitness company, that every bit of time that you spend in that business, working on the business, is guided by somebody who can tell you what is the best way to spend your time, right? You're not guessing. You're not like, oh, well, I'll give you an example. A lot of people will jump straight to doing Facebook ads. And I know I told my challenge participants this week, you guys, here's how you get out there and give this offer to the people who are most likely to buy. And none of them were Facebook ads, because I don't want you spending money on Facebook ads until you're ready, and you're not ready yet. If you're watching this, you're probably not ready yet, and the challenge participants are not ready yet, because Facebook ads are a very specific thing, and we train you on Facebook ads in the accelerator. So you guys, that is out there. I'm not going to talk too much more about it. I want to say that it is out there, that I would love for you to take a look at it, and I would love for you to ask me your questions if that is something that you are interested in. So that's what I have. Anybody got any questions for me right now before we end the show? Was that mindset work really helpful? I have a feeling you guys enjoyed it. All right, you guys. And so I'm going to take off. I am available by direct message today or by email, kelly@fitprosconnect.com. So feel free to get with me and ask your questions either about the lesson or about the accelerator. And y'all, that's it for me for today. I will talk to you soon. Bye. Mwah.